Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we are tracking a few storms across the central to eastern portion of the U.S. We're also tracking storms down to the southwest, but I think one of the biggest things about this forecast today is we're going to be talking about other things happening across the U.S. So we're talking about tropical activity in the Atlantic. We now have an upgraded risk to see that next tropical cyclone. Very recently, new this morning, the Enderlin tornadoes from back in June just got upgraded to an EF5. The first one that we have seen in 12 years since the Moore, Oklahoma tornado back in 2013. We're going to be going over that for you. We're going to be telling you what the National Weather Service has said about that tornado, and we're going to be showing some pictures from that event. Also, we have incredible footage of a hailstorm from this weekend on Saturday. Did you guys see that hail out in Wyoming? We're going to be talking about that here in just a few minutes. And I know if that was not enough for you, we have Derik, Kline, and our newest meteorologist, Mikayla Smith, out at Roofcon today. So we're going to be getting a check-in with them about how that event is going. So holy moly, we have a lot going on in this forecast. Let's start on Saturday in Wyoming. Let me take you down to Saturday in Wyoming. We got a few showers just before that Wyoming versus UNLV game. But really what happened and what we're going to be talking about now is that hailstorm that came through just before that game started, and it produced a ton of hail. Take a look at these pictures and videos right here. It looked like snow, and I know that's possible in October. It was not snow, it was hail. And then after that hailstorm, the crews worked very hard to clear the lines on the field. However, it still created some slippery conditions for those players on the field. And then check that out, a double rainbow appeared after that storm in the middle of the game. An absolutely unique sight, especially in October. You know, you could expect snow in October, but that much hail, that's very, very unique. So that's what happened over the weekend in terms of severe weather. Other than that, we were pretty quiet. Few wind reports out there, maybe one hail report up in North Dakota, but it was a pretty quiet weekend overall. Now we've got a little bit more activity out there. We've got a cold front that's moving through the western side of Texas and Oklahoma, a warm front up in Kansas right now, and then you can see that front extends all the way up the Midwest. Now what this is doing is it's producing a lot of showers and storms out there. However, the severe risk is very, very low. A rumble of thunder, a strike of lightning is absolutely possible today. Again, that severe risk is going to be pretty low. We've got a flood risk out in the southeastern portion of the U.S. near places like Louisiana and Mississippi. Maybe some very, very isolated hailstones in this area in New Mexico today. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes as well. For the most part, we're pretty quiet out there. I think one of the biggest things that you're going to notice over the next few days is that temperature change. As that cold front moves through, you can already see that temperature gradient, the difference of the warmer versus cooler temperatures that are moving through. 76 right now in Kansas City. However, in Nebraska, temperatures are sitting in the 50s and maybe even 60s today. We're still going to stay warm across the central portion of the U.S. for at least 24 more hours, but then we have some cooler air coming our way. Before we get into the hail forecast, because I do want to talk about the potential hailstorms today, I actually want to show you something that came in brand new this morning. We're going to talk about the EF5 upgrade that happened, and I know I'm going a little out of order here, John, so I apologize about that. Let's take a look at some of those pictures and videos that came in from the National Weather Service this morning. So here's what they showed us. They said, we are upgrading this tornado from an EF3 to an EF5. I'm going to read off, I know that was a lot of words on the screen here, but I'm going to read off some of the things that the National Weather Service said this morning. So this is coming out of Grand Forks, North Dakota. The National Weather Service in Grand Forks conducted additional surveys and worked extensively with wind damage experts to further investigate the 20th of June 2025 Enderlin, North Dakota tornado. The estimated maximum wind speed of this tornado is greater than 210 miles an hour. 210 miles an hour. It occurred during the time of a train derailment in Enderlin, North Dakota, and so that train derailment and just how heavy those trains were, those train cars are, and how much they were thrown off the track there really went into that upgrade from an EF3 to an EF5 tornado. Now, the National Weather Service goes on to say additional high-end damage indicates that additional trees near the Maple River east of Enderlin and damage from a farmstead along Highway 46 also went into that rating. They're saying here that what was left of some of these trees was only stubs of large branches or large tree trunks remaining, and debarking with sandpapering effect prevalent. So there's a lot of information here. We'll post this on our social media, but we did want to let you know of that brand new upgrade from an EF3 to an EF5 tornado, the first EF5 that we have seen in 12 years. Back, the last one was Moore, Oklahoma, back in 2013. So we'll post more information on our social media. We're working on a blog with even more information that will come up here in just a few hours. Alrighty, let's go back to the forecast now. Let's go ahead and talk about that hail risk for today. We have a pretty low hail risk, and you can kind of see where in those areas highlighted there in yellow. Your maximum hail size today, I said ping pong ball size hail, but I think that's probably stretching it. Ping pong ball size hail, where? Honestly, it'll probably be smaller. It'll probably be quarter size hail. Highlighted there in yellow, Tucumcari, Raton, all the way down to Albuquerque. Maybe we'll get a few isolated storms in this area. Your wind forecast for today, we've got about 65 mile-per-hour wind speeds possible in this area as well. It's going to be very, very isolated. And again, that'll be from storms that are forming through the afternoon and late night hours tonight. So late afternoon into the late night, it's going to be a very, very isolated storm risk. All of your other storms are out here in the eastern portion of the U.S. There you go. There's your forecast today on land. But I actually want to get out to meteorologist Mikayla Smith. She is in Oklahoma City right now at the road to Roofcon. She caught up with Derik Kline, who is speaking there today. And I want to hear, how does it look in Oklahoma City today? Mikayla, I want to hear about Derik's talk today. Just let's catch up. Let's see what they have to say.
We are at Road to Roofcon today here in Oklahoma City. It's a beautiful day, lots of sunshine, a little maybe too sunny for your liking right now being outside with your shades on.
It's definitely sunny.
You know, at least, I guess it could be worse. I don't know, October.
It's hot.
You kind of
still,
wanted
it's mid-October almost. I mean, or no, it's not
It's
mid-October.
early October, but at this point, you should not feel like this.
But it's definitely hot, so.
It's getting hot. It's like, yeah, mid-afternoon now, and it's just going to get hotter throughout the day. But we'll head inside once, you know, the event's happening. You're speaking today at Road to Roofcon.
Yeah.
Are you excited about getting to chat with some people inside?
Definitely am. Definitely excited to talk. We're gonna talk about insurance claims a little bit. I think that's going to be a fun thing, and really kind of understanding the dynamics of an insurance claim, especially when it comes to the weather side of an insurance claim. We're also going to talk a little bit about how to look at weather data a little bit different when you're running your roofing business. So we're going to talk about not looking at it so from the top up. We're going to try to look at it from the bottom up. So interesting talk that I'm going to give today, and I'm sure it'll be something that we'll be able to do at Roofcon, which we're at the Road to Roofcon today. So what is it? We're 3 months away from January, 3-4 months. January will be here, and
Before we know it,
Road to Roofcon will be here in Oklahoma City, right here in our backyard.
Yeah, for people who obviously aren't here today, you'll have more events obviously that we will be at and continuing to do these kind of fun talks today. Talking about the weather in general, I have some weather questions for you today.
Uh-oh.
So what is your thoughts right now on this hurricane season right now? Kind of forecasted to be a little bit above average. Things obviously really quiet. We didn't have any landfalling hurricanes in September. What are your thoughts?
Well, I can give you one guarantee, one for sure guarantee. Oklahoma will not have a hurricane this year, so we do know that. So we can lock that in this year.
You heard it here first, guys. No hurricanes in Oklahoma.
Breaking news. Now, outside of that, though, just man, you know, so as we get into October, we'll start to see hurricanes or tropical systems. The initiation of them starts to happen a little bit more in the Caribbean and the Gulf. That's the more highlighted area. And then the flow tends to want to take those either across Cuba and then the Bahamas out, or it'll take them kind of through the gap between the Yucatan and Cuba and then up into Florida. That's kind of our last chance. We've got a wave out there in the Atlantic right now. It's gonna be a sea storm, a fish storm. It's definitely gonna form. Looks like it'll probably be a major hurricane, but it's gonna curve again. So Bermuda really the only impact possibility, maybe the Leeward Islands. But as far as the states, I mean, our chances are definitely dwindling. You know, so we're not to zero yet because we still have the Gulf, and the Gulf is the warmest. The Gulf and the Caribbean, the warmest locations, the least amount of shear in the month of October. So we'll see if something can form.
And there really hasn't been any storms there yet to like use any of that fuel, so it's still just really hot. If you like look at a map right now, the water is like steaming because no one's really used that atmosphere yet.
Yeah, 90-degree water down there, so we're talking about bath water. So
you like to go sometimes, you know, try to chase hurricanes if you can. You haven't really had a chance this season. You've been stuck in Oklahoma.
not a single one this year. We got we had one last year, but not a single one this year. Yeah, so it's the travel budget has been lighter, which is not a good thing, at least in our industry. So you know, we'll see where it goes. I'm definitely leaning more towards severe weather being the bigger impact this Q4, we'll call it Q4 time period, which typically hurricanes lead us off, and then as we get into November, December, we start talking about the southeast and the southern plains really ticking things up just a bit as the jet stream comes back in. And so I think severe weather is going to be the bigger threat. Hurricanes probably the lesser of the threats.
We were talking a little bit earlier too about how last November 2024 in Oklahoma, at least, we had a record amount of number of tornadoes. Do you see right now, at least looking at some of those kind of trends in the future, do you think that we'll have a little bit more of an active fall severe weather season?
I think that we're going to be close to average. So I don't think we're going to see record-breaking severe weather this year. If I had to choose a number, let's say 100 is the normal number, I would say we're probably going to be on like that 90 to 100. So right about or right below average, and that kind of stays in line with where we've been really since about May 1st. So January through May 1st, super active in the U.S. May 1st till to date has been a little bit below average, and so I expect that trend to continue. And what'll be interesting is what does next year look like, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll have some impactful storms between now and December, but we're already gearing up for the hail forecast, right? So the Raising Hail Tour coming in January, February, and maybe March, I think. I don't know the exact dates. I'm sure they're going to pop up on a screen now that I'm talking about this. We're going to give out the exact dates. We're adding a new location as well, so excited about that too.
That'll be really exciting. Again, if you weren't obviously able to come today, we're going to be a lot more events coming up soon, especially when we actually have Roofcon and then obviously the Raising Hail Tour, so be sure to check us out at some of those events, and we'll be posting more kind of fun information about what we're doing here today as well.
Thanks, Mikayla. Well, we appreciate, a little echo there. Well, we appreciate that you were out at Road to Roofcon today in Oklahoma City. And we appreciate Derik with that teaser to the Raising Hail Tour that will be happening in the early portion of next year. So we're very excited about that, and we'll give more information about that in the coming weeks. Alrighty, bringing you back to the forecast now. As Derik mentioned, we do have some activity out in the Atlantic right now. It's a tropical wave that we're going to have to keep our eye on over the next few days. So we've got that flooding out in the east, southeast today. As we head into the next few days, I'm going to take you out to the Atlantic. So let my graphics, there you go, catch up with each other there. We've got an area highlighted here in red. Right now, we've identified that as Invest 95L. At the moment, this is moving to the west at about 26 miles an hour. It's a little fast. You know, whenever we see that these storms are moving that fast, it may prevent them from organizing. If they could slow down a little bit, it may give more time for organization. The pressure right now is a little over 1,000 millibars, not very impressive right there. We would like that to go below 1,000 millibars to become something significant. And the wind, very weak at 30 miles an hour. So nothing impressive right now. However, as Derik said, it has the potential to be a lot more impressive over the next few days. Potentially a major hurricane here, 50% for Tropical Cyclone Formation in the next 48 hours, and 70% for Tropical Cyclone Formation in the next 7 days. So what are we talking about here? By the end of this week, we will most likely or could have the next hurricane on our hands. Now let's talk about the track of this storm. It does look like it's moving to the west right now, but up to the northwest as we head into the later portion of this work week. As Derik had mentioned, I like that he mentioned this here because it is likely once again to curve again up to the north, very similar to how our storms have over the past few weeks. This has been a very similar trend that we've seen with many of these storms that are on the map right here. Our next named storm will most likely happen later on this week, and that'll be Jerry. After that, we see Karen, and Lorenzo is on our list as well. So far this year, we've seen what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 storms. Our average is 14, so we're still a little below average for this time of the year, or for this season in general. Last year, we overperformed. We were at 18 total storms last year. In our HailTrace forecast, back in January, we forecasted 12 to 17 named storms. So we're a little bit below average. However, we still have an entire month left of another month left of hurricane season. There we go. We still see a decent amount of activity all the way through the end of October. So we're at the very beginning of October. We still have a lot more activity to come. There's your Atlantic right now. Nothing too significant at the moment. You're going to see a lot more activity also in the central portion of the U.S. as we go throughout the next few days. Thankfully, a little bit of a cool down is coming. Woohoo! You can see that cool down right there. Take a look at this. Temperatures are looking much below average. We're talking 10, maybe 15 degrees below average over the next few days as this cold front comes sweeping through the U.S. Right now, some people are still enjoying those almost summertime temperatures, but others, it feels like fall. It's a U.S. divided right now, especially in Kansas. It's a state divided in Kansas with those cooler temperatures farther out to the west. Alrighty, let's move on here. It will warm back up, not today, not tomorrow, but probably by the end of the work week, we are looking at temperatures once again above average. What are we talking about here? Thursday, Friday? Ooh, we're back into the mid upper 80s on Thursday. 86 here in Oklahoma City, 82 out in Denver, and 76 in Kansas City. By Friday, it looks like temperatures in the 80s, 70s, maybe even a few 90s trying to mix in to the southern portion of Texas. And that warm trend will most likely continue all the way through the middle of October. It looks like temperatures are much above average through the middle of this month. So we're probably going to see those 80s stick around as we head into the middle of October. And there's your forecast. Thanks for joining us today. We had a lot in this forecast. We talked about that upgrade to an EF5. We talked about the Wyoming weekend hail. And we also got to catch up with meteorologist Mikayla Smith and Derik Kline out at Roofcon. If you missed any of this, you can always go back and rewatch our forecast after it is over. But in the meantime, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We're going to be posting more information about that upgraded EF5 tornado later on our social media pages, so make sure that you're following us to get that information. We've also, of course, got our newest meteorologist, Mikayla Smith, which you saw earlier in this forecast. She'll be helping us out with our YouTube and TikTok and Instagram as well, so follow for a lot of her content. It's phenomenal. And if you're interested in a hail, wind, or tornado map, give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. You can also head over to our website, hailtrace.com. Thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we'll see you back here, same time, same place for your forecast tomorrow.